This video is going to help you understand the Week 10 discussion board prompt a little better. This is going to be about opposing and refuting. So what you'll want to do is click on here, obviously. Go through and read all of these instructions. I'm just going to go over this basically, or just review it quickly for you, but you should read this in depth. The first thing you should do is read the ACLU advertisement. As you're reading it, ask yourself, what are they using as their mechanism to draw us in? Are they using logos, ethos, or pathos? And as you read it, understand that you're going to read the student's sample here. And when she wrote this, she chose pathos. She thought that pathos was used, feelings were used in this ACLU advertisement. Then what you're going to do is you're going to take her pathos and you're going to pretend as though you wrote it and that you say that pathos is the main theme here. What you're going to do is you're going to write a paragraph that opposes that because it's good. It gives ethos, credibility to your own writing if you bring in the opposite side of your claim, what you think is correct. This way you seem more well-rounded for the people, for your readers to understand that you're not trying to hide, oh, this person believes that pathos is in this article, but what about ethos and logos? By giving some of the ideas from the other side, those who oppose, who do not think pathos is the number one, you're being well-rounded. People will trust you. They're like, they're not afraid to give the other side's opinions or what they believe, but then you're going to refute it. You're going to spin it back to pathos. Let me go here. Once you click on the essay models and phrases, you will notice that there is a paragraph that you should model as you write your pathos, logos, or ethos. And as soon as it opens, here is a model of organization that if you're going to write an argumentative essay, you can follow these models. There are 4. What we're going to concentrate on right now is the model where it gives you here. So pro-argument, 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 and then the counter-argument and refutation or refuting. So what happens is we are only looking at a paragraph. So the student who wrote about the ACLU, we're only going to see her pro on pathos. Our job is to pretend that we're going to give a counter-argument and refute that. Although we did not write it, this other student did. We're going to pretend that we wrote it and that we chose pathos. Now we're going to choose here in our counter-argument to use logos or ethos and give some support that, you know what, although pathos is the main, some other people may believe that logos or ethos is the main portion, the main part. Look at these model B, C, and D later because when you write your research essay, you may choose one of these formats to write your argumentative essay. So as a format to follow it. You can do any of these. So again, we're not going to read the student example, but we know that she is pro pathos. So what we're going to do is we're going to pretend it's us, that we wrote that we think pathos is the number one, introduce the opposing argument. So we're going to write a paragraph. And this is what our paragraph will look like. See how it says many critics or opposing claims of going green claim that becoming environmentally friendly is too expensive. Now look, what we're going to do here is, this is an example about going green versus not going green on a college campus. My point here is, I want you to follow this to the T, and obviously you're going to talk about pathos, and then logos and ethos here, and then spin it back to pathos. But make sure you highlight the main points of here. So here we have the main points of here. That doesn't make sense. But here, you're going to do the counter argument. Let me come up here. So introduce the opposing argument. That should be highlighted. Give your opposing argument. Acknowledge the valid parts of the opposition. So if you choose logos, give some reasons that logos could be more important than Pathos in the ACLU advertisements. Counter the argument, make sure that's in highlight. Introduce the conclusion. This is all you're doing. You're making a paragraph. So let me show you how I would set this up. So if I were writing this paragraph, this obviously in my paragraph would be introduce the opposing paragraph, the topic sentence. Highlight this. Make sure that's in bold. And then give your sentence. How are you going to say this? Many people claim that this ACLU ad played more on the viewer's pathos than it did on logos. Or if you choose ethos. Okay? Whichever one you choose, this is your introduction to the opposing. So you're saying, look, although we chose pathos, there are other people who will choose logos or ethos. And then you're going to bold this, bold this, bold this, and after each bold you're going to put in your own sentence. And you have to read the article because you have to give evidence for logos and you have to give evidence for ethos, whichever one you choose. And again, if you need to go back, look at the essay model I gave here. So make sure that this is highlighted. Introduce the opposing paragraph, highlight it, then put your information. The next point, concede or acknowledge the valid points of the act. Bold that, give your sentences, your proof. Counter the argument or refute it, then give your evidence. Just make sure that 1, 2, 3, 4 are in bold, but then put your support in regular font. So I hope this helps. The point here is, if we're writing about, and I gave it up here, if we were to write a essay about which is better, Verizon or Sprint, this is just an example. You're still going to concentrate on the pathos, logos, and ethos. If I give all my information about Verizon, yes, Verizon's the best, Verizon's the best, Verizon's the best. That's one-sided. It's an argumentative essay, so we want to bring in the other side, the opposing views. So then maybe I would talk about how, here I said, Sprint may be cheaper, and that is why some people prefer it. So look, I like Verizon, but some people might say, you know what, Verizon's more expensive. Bring that in. Some people say, you know what, I don't care what Verizon has. I'm going to go with Sprint because it is cheaper. But you can say that. You can concede, say, look, they're right. Sprint is cheaper than Verizon. However, if Verizon is more expensive, there's a reason. Verizon has more towers. Verizon has more cell coverage. So you may pay less for Sprint, but they're not going to get as many calls because they're going to keep getting dropped. So see how you're bringing in the other side? Yes, Sprint is cheaper. However, Verizon is still better. So I hope this helps everybody. If you need more help, I put the 2 videos at the end of this module. Alright, take care.